All right, I got all my stuff set up. Let's do something cool. So check out this Mickey Mantle card. I always thought this was a cool portrait of Mickey. I like this card a lot. And here's the issues. It's got a little bumpy surface, see? And then there's like a stain on it. So I want to try to get the stain off now, and then I'm going to show you something simple and easy that can hopefully make a nice difference on just the kind of lumpy surface. And something I want you to notice too is the card is not a dirty card, meaning it doesn't have a bunch of stains on it or anything like that. It's in really nice shape. Let's get some good light on it, right? Great looking card. So it's just needs a little help on the front. So let's start with just trying to get this little guy off the front right there. That shouldn't be too tough in my opinion, and then I'll show you something cool too. All right there. So before we do that, let me just show you what I'm going to do. We're going to use a little bit of card spray. And I don't want to push too hard. I don't want to like pick off the surface, you know? So I just want you guys to know that I'm just doing like barely making contact. Just wiping that area. I was hoping that was some sort of substance that we could wipe off easily. Let's see if that's the case. All right, good. All right, step one, that was good. Cool. Now, there's just those bumps in there, okay? So what I wanna do is I'm just gonna do a little light treatment of spray. Let's just put Mickey right there so you can see what I'm doing. So we're just gonna use, you can just use a little spray bottle for this. Just a little mist. I just wanna have a little moisture on the back of the card, a little moisture on the front of the card. That's it, okay? So then, I'm gonna put Mickey right there. I'm gonna do the same thing for the front, just a little bit. Just 2 little pumps. So it's not very wet at all, but it's just enough to where a lot of times you can get little dents like that out. And you don't have to, like, if you guys have watched me work on vintage cards, the real dirty ones and the real bent up ones, you know, they require like a soaking and all that stuff. But when you just got minor stuff like this, I've just had collectors show me pictures and being like, hey Kurt, I'm gonna soak this tonight. And I was like, no, don't, that's too much, you know, just do like a ton of cards with one of these versus, you know, having to just use it all for one. But if you got a really beat up card, one, you know, sometimes you got to go full soak. But I'm going to let this sit like this for 1 hour. I'm going to set my phone for 1 hour. I'm going to come back and look at it, and I'm going to turn on the video camera and I'll show you guys what it looks like in 1 hour. All right, let's check on Mickey Mantle. We did just a light spray on the pads and just kind of like, it's made a card sandwich, right? So usually that's all you're going to need, guys, when you have just a little bit of a, you know, just a bumpy surface. All right, so we'll see how we did. I think we did pretty darn good. We did really well. I see a little bit of a little dimple still up there. That's okay, we'll work on that last. Now, here's something, I can always come back to that. Look, the nice part is the whole surface looks wonderful now. We had a lot going on in his face in the upper areas, so that was awesome. That was just a little bit of spray. Now, the card, you guys took on moisture, so it's damp, okay? So, I'm gonna show you something. You always want your cards to dry flat and in the right shape, and you want them to dry slow. But like, there's only a little bit of moisture in here. So you just see this pad right here, guys? Just watch. I'm just gonna do a little bit of drying like this, and you're gonna see that the card's gonna lift up. See, it's gonna start to curl, right? Now, I'm gonna show you how to squeeze just a little bit of more moisture out of these safely. So it's gonna start to curl, right? Let's come in and flip it over. So now we got the arch right there. Now I can literally sit here and do this for minutes, you guys, and I might do that. So I just probably don't need to explain much more, but I'm going to show you just getting a card from damp to almost dry on your desk like this, just using your pads, and it's going to take you a few minutes. And it is going to go like this, then you flip it and it goes back and forth. But let me get a good view here for you. We'll get some good light, make sure it's easy to see. Yeah, maybe it's easier to see like that. I want you to watch the where it lifts up. You notice how it's not curling as much more? It's because we're pulling that moisture out of it quick. But if I just left it one way, if I just left it, face up, it's gonna curl up like a taco. So you just kind of gotta, it's like cooking a burger, man. Flip, flip, flip. All right, so you see how the back is curling more? Shows me that back. It's still a little bit damp back there. All right, so that's all I want to do for right now. But you see what we just did? We did that back and forth, and you see how now it's back to flat? It's because we're just pulling that moisture out of there. So right now, if I just left it there, it'll probably start to lift up a little bit more. But I'm not gonna let it do that. So what we're gonna do is just go right back between the pads, the drying pads. But the card already feels almost dry, okay? It feels great, and I'm just gonna cover it up. I don't even think I'm gonna need to change these pads. I don't think I don't think the card is wet enough to even really make the pads that wet. But let's just let it dry nice and slow for the rest of this duration, and I'll show you the next step. All right, I'll open it up with you guys, and it'll probably be about 95% dry. Even when it feels dry, I still always transfer to a top loader or to a penny sleeve and then a top loader and let it rest for a few more days, because I always just want it to be nice and flat. All right, so stay tuned and we'll finish this one up together ASAP. So in our last edit, I was showing how I'll just kind of tease a little bit of the moisture, remaining moisture out of these cards when we're doing the drying process. And here's our Mickey, and overall the surface looks a lot better. The stain's gone, a lot of the dimples lifted up out of there. I still got that little one up there. It's whatever. I did, you guys. I put little touches of moisture on it, kept it between the pads. Sometimes they're just a little tricky. I'm not going to give up yet, but I mean, we're pretty close, so if it stays, it stays. But isn't that cool? The card's nice and flat. And even again, if you just want to, we're going to do a card polish on the front, but I'll always just make sure that I get as much of the moisture out as I can. Not really moving on me, but let's just do a little for safekeeping. We'll do the back as well. And then feels pretty good. Doesn't feel real damp or anything like that to me, but I've been asked about this a little bit. So hey, I get the card real clean, but I'm just still getting a little bit of a twist. What do you do? So I hope this helps you guys. So that's pretty much it. But now let's get a better picture here. So the surface looks overall pretty good, but it's just it could use a little love. So I'm just, being that the front of this card has a polyurethane on it, that's the shine, has a finish, it can take a card polish just fine. Now backs of these cards are matte finish, they're not. So let's just stick to the front. We'll do a card polish on the front, and then I'm just gonna let the card rest after that for a few more minutes, and then we'll take a good look at it. And I think we'll have a really nice before and after session with this one. off right. Looks great. All right, so I'll do some before and after pictures. I'll post it up, guys, but I hope this one helps, and use these methods on cards where you run into this type of issue. And I will talk to you very, very soon. I am Kurt with Kurt's Card Care.